welcome to Review the Light. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Thrunite T20T, but really quick before we get into it, if you haven't yet, go ahead and click this link right up here to subscribe to my YouTube channel, this one to follow me on Facebook, and I'm going to be putting a link to the full review once it's completed in the description below. So, the Thrunite T20T is a new titanium light by Thrunite. You can see it comes in this nice kind of metal container here, all plain except for the Thrunite logo and the model name there. Open it up, and the instruction manual is here, and it's a pretty simple light, so it doesn't take too much instruction. It comes with a few accessories. We have the diffuser wand here, and inside this little baggie we have a couple of spare O-rings and the clip, and I'll be putting that on later. And you can see that. I'm not going to take it out of the bag right now because I don't want to lose the little screws. And then the light itself comes in this little plastic bag to keep the titanium looking nice, I guess. So, here is the T20T. It is made of titanium, so if you're not familiar with the more exotic flashlight materials, a lot of modern flashlights now are made out of aluminum with covered in a hard anodizing that kind of prevents them from getting dinged up or scratched up. The titanium resists that pretty much on its own, and obviously, even if you don't know a lot about flashlights, you've probably heard of titanium. It's a very strong material, and it's kind of popular to use in high-end flashlights. So, let me get this stuff out of the way here. Alright, the T20T uses the Cree XPG2 emitter. That's an upgrade from the older XPG emitter, which is popular in smaller flashlights because it has a smaller area for the emitter. That emitter can't put out as much light as the XML emitters, but with a small area it's easier to focus, and it's still got pretty high efficiency compared to a lot of other LED emitters. So you can also see that the reflector is kind of textured a little bit, and that helps smooth out the beam at the cost of a little bit of throw. And it's set about a medium sort of distance back into the reflector. The emitter sits right about here when you look at it. So you can also see that there are these grooves kind of milled into the head. It gives you some good grip, which is nice because the titanium is pretty slippery otherwise. That's most of your grip on the light comes from those grooves on the head. Right there. The body itself, you can see, is smooth without much detailing or anything like that. It has the model number here, the T20T, printed onto the side. I'll see if I can get my camera to focus on that. It's a little bit hard to see because the light itself is so shiny, but I can see it. There you go. And these aren't etched in or anything. It seems to just be printed on the surface of the light. There's no, I can't feel any grooves or anything as if that was etched in, so it seems like it's just printed on there. And then on the other side, you can see the Thrunite logo right there. The tail has a little bit of a groove right there where it looks like, yeah, there's just a little bit of grip for the tail. And then it's crenellated on the end so that you, as you're holding it, your thumb has a good spot to get in there and hit the switch easily, but also it should do a pretty stable tail stand there because these crenellations extend beyond the switch. You can see here a little bit of a spot for if you want to attach a lanyard, and these are going to be the screw holes to attach the clip. And the button itself is also made out of titanium, so if you haven't had a titanium light before, using a titanium button isn't quite as smooth as if there were like a rubber cover over it, because there is that kind of titanium on titanium grating as you push it down. It's not bad in this light at all, especially compared to some others that I've used, but it is noticeable, so don't be surprised about that if you use this. And it just looks really nice. It's well put together. Not much of that grating that I mentioned, so it's in good shape there. So I'm going to open it up. You can see on the inside here, that's the head, and you can tell where the battery makes positive connection there, and it looks like, I'll confirm this in testing later, but it looks like in the head they have a sort of reverse polarity protection built in with these two little side pads next to the middle one. I'm guessing that if the light makes electrical connection across there, like if you have the negative end of the battery, the flat end up there, then the light won't activate, so that protects your battery and your light in case of inserting the battery backwards. Whereas if you have the battery inserted correctly, it's going to have the button top making connection right up there. So you can also see there's the threads right there. I'm going to look closely. They seem to be a kind of triangle pattern and fairly small, but they still are very smooth to use, and obviously the O-ring right there. At this other end, depending on how bright you have your screen turned up, you might be able to see the spring at the rear end of the battery tube there. So here is the battery. Pop one of those in. As I mentioned, it takes a single CR123 lithium battery or a 16340 lithium ion battery if you want to use a rechargeable. And with the lithium ion, I believe it's going to be brighter. I'll test that, and again, that'll be in the full review below. So when I fully tighten the light, it comes on here. So the light is controlled mostly by the switch here, although Thrunite also does mention some head twisting if you're into that. So it has 3 modes. Low, medium, and high. So let's see where we're at here. So here's it's Firefly, low and medium. Now this looks pretty cool on the video here, but this is actually a neutral version, so to see its real tint, it'll show it better in the outdoor video and also in the beam shots that you can check out in the full review. It looks just cool here because my camera's white balance in the light box, but outside you'll be able to see it's a neutral tint a little bit better. It's not all of the T20Ts are in neutral, but I was sent the neutral version for review, and you can see this is the Firefly mode, which is pretty low. They claim 0.04 lumens, and they've been accurate with that in other lights of their Thrunites that I've reviewed also. So that's very nice for low-level lighting if you don't want to ruin your night vision or attract attention. And then the next one is the low mode, and then the high. And I'll show you those over here. So the Firefly, you can't really see very well at all. It kind of shows up because it's so low, and then it'll show up better in the dark. And then there's the low, and there's the high. So you can see there's a definite hot spot here in the middle, and then as it fades out, there's a pretty smooth transition out here into the spill region, and then a smooth transition into the end of the beam. So that's the beam pattern, and you just turn the light on by clicking it on, and it does have mode memory, so whatever mode you use last is where it comes on. And when you want to switch the mode, you turn it off and back on within 2 seconds. So you can do that by the tail cap. You can see I'm just turning it off and back on again. Or you can do that by, they claim, loosening the head and turning it back on and off like that. So most people don't prefer the loosening the head method when you have the switch available, but it's there if you like that. So, and looks like I don't always get it all the way tightened again. So this has been the indoor portion of the T20T titanium neutral white version, and go ahead and stick around for a second, and we will take the light outside and give it a shot in the dark. Hello and welcome back to Review the Light. We've got the Thrunite T20T Neutral White Edition here in the backyard, and we're going to give it a shot in the dark, so here it is. Alright, I've turned it on. It appears to be in the low mode here. So you can see the fairly soft transition from the spot out to the spill region. And on the low mode here you can't really see, but the spill region kind of goes out to about that far there. So we'll bump it up a notch. Here's the high, and as you can see, this is plenty of light to see around a yard, or if I even had a larger yard here, I still have plenty of light. And you can see it's got the good neutral tint, very nice for making out what an object is, just not whether or not it's there. So it's great. You can see I've got my dog's stick laying in the yard there. And I will pan around just a little bit so you can see some other things. So there's my fence over there with a few flowers behind it. Up there is a tree. The farther tree is, you can't really see it on the camera, the one back there that I'm pointing at right now, but I can see it with my eyes, and I can tell whether or not there's anything in it. Right now it appears to be nothing in it, but just looking around here you can tell very good. Oh, you can have a look at my grill. You can see some good color on that. But the neutral white is very nice for the outdoor environment. Much easier to tell what a thing is with a slightly more neutral tint. So let's go through the modes real quick. Here's the Firefly. Obviously you can't see much over there. I can kind of make it out on the wall of my garage. You're not going to be able to see it on my camera most likely. And there's the low again, and there's the high. So just up close you can see that is the Firefly mode, very dim, and the low and the high. And I will try and point it at the ground here to see if you can see Firefly on the ground, how that works out for you. You might be able to kind of make that out depending on how bright your monitor is set to. And again, there's the low and the high. You can see that nice neutral beam. So this has been the Thrunite T20T neutral white version, and again, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel by this link right up here. Follow me on Facebook here, and check out the full review by the link in the description below. Thanks for joining us with Review the Light. Have a good night.